All right, so we're set up and recording. Um, Good evening, ladies, gentlemen. Welcome everybody to tonight's call. So our topic this evening is mindset, right? So we were tasked with reading the book entitled what? What was it? Is it Millionaire Mindset or the Mindset of a Millionaire?
The millionaire mindset.
Millionaire Mindset. Um, so for those who read it, what did you think?
So it actually was pretty shocking the first time I read it. I actually had to listen to it. I think I'm on the fourth time listening to it. Um, but I think it's mainly because my mindset is not um, in line with it. So it's going to take me a while to really get it.
Yeah, it kind of I was telling Dana like right before we got on, like there was some things that like on a personal level, like they kind of like rubbed me the wrong way. But like a lot of what the book talks about, um, it makes sense because like and correct me and feel free anybody to step in and correct me if I'm wrong. But um I guess like the core foundation of the book was about how our mindset personally dictates whether we're rich or poor. And so, like, initially, my thought process was like, well, why does everybody have to be rich? Like, why can't people just be comfortable? And it's funny that he actually addressed that in the book, um, because it's like with that mindset of like just being comfortable, like you're still going to struggle, like you're still going to have certain problems that come with a comfortable lifestyle. And so like as I'm reading the book, like I'm thinking like, well, how does this apply to Young Living? Um, and then how does this apply to my life personally? And one thing I really got out of it was like rich people have something in common, and it's the fact that they either affect a lot of people or they bring, how did they phrase it? They bring a lot of, I guess, value to what they do in life. So like supply and demand. Um, and that goes hand in hand with Young Living, right? So you look at people that are successful in Young Living, and why are they successful? It's because they brought a lot to the table, so to speak. Like they've brought a lot of value. They've helped a lot of people to progress, and like really, he continued to break down, I guess, some of the stigma that people have with not only necessarily being rich, but like having a stigma towards rich people. So I thought that was pretty interesting too, because I didn't think about the aspect that like sometimes like rich people are disliked just because they have money, not necessarily because there's anything wrong with them as a person, but it's like automatically we might assume that they're going to reject us because they have more materially than we might have or more financially than we might have. So we reject them first and treat them in a negative manner. So I don't know. There was a ton that I was still like trying to digest. Those were like the main things that stuck out. What about you? What stuck out to you?
And I think the biggest thing to me is your money blueprint. So what you were raised believing about money carries on to how you handle and manage money as an adult. And so there's a lot of little things that, like he said, like, did you grow up hearing money doesn't grow on trees? Or did you grow up, well, we don't have money for that? Or if you grew up with that mindset that, money is not something that came abundantly or did come abundantly, that would be how you address life, right? So like if you everything was always tight and you guys never could get extra things, then that's probably how you're going to be as an adult. So that was pretty powerful to me because I definitely know the way that I manage money, the way I think about money is definitely, imprinted from what I learned as a child.
Yeah. And one thing that I was thinking about that was pretty interesting from the book also is that that mentality carries over into other facets of your life. And so like I don't know, like the way that I was raised, it was um to be comfortable. And so my outlook on life is like knowing that I have certain exceptional skills has always been to say, to talk myself out of being all that I can be. And so that even applies to like, you know, careers, hobbies, young living. And so I'm not alone. Fortunately, I'm not alone in that thought process, but sometimes we do that. Like we con ourselves out of, you know, going the distance because we feel like we're not worthy to have it, or we feel like we shouldn't have it. And the reality is, it's not about what you have, but it's about what you do with it and your perception of it. So when I spoke of like the negative stigmatism or the stigma behind like people with money or being rich, it's automatically assuming that that person is materialistic. That person is probably a jerk, and all of these negative perceptions that we might have of people who are rich. And the reality is it's really just about the mindset and how you view money, because the decisions that the only thing that separates poor people and rich people are the decisions that they've made with money. So you can have a person with a poor mindset who is materialistic. You can have a person with a poor mindset who makes 6 figures a year and still has nothing to show for it. And so I appreciate that the book dives a little bit into that. And granted, some of the things that he says are extreme, but he wrote the book in that way to draw a nice comparison, so that you understand really how rich people think in comparison to poor people and how that applies to your business. So when I think about in Young Living being abundant, sometimes we have a poor mindset within Young Living. I'm only going to share with a few people, because I don't think that I desire or deserve to be Royal Crown Diamond. But
or
go ahead.
I was just going to add to that, or we might say I'm only going to share with a few people because I don't want people to think that I'm trying to sell them something, or I don't want them to view me as pushy or stuff like that. So again, that goes back to your mindset, because the reality is, like, one thing that he brought out, like when you are giving more, right, you have more to show for it. So like if I'm sharing with more people, if we have a bigger organization, there's more lives that have been impacted. There's more people that have been transformed, whether it's physically, health, emotionally, financially, right? So really, that could be in your mind that's holding you back.
Yeah, I'm thinking from even a perspective like somebody who's yellow like you, and I know that we have some greens, some reds, some blues on the call also. But for a person who is looking to help a bunch of people, like think of what you could do with more money. Like think how many people you could help. There's a reason why people who are a little bit more off financially sometimes seem to be a little bit more charitable. And it's because of their perception of money. Like they don't worry about losing it all and not being able to gain it back, because that mindset is different. So you'll find that they're a little bit more charitable when it comes to giving away money, because it's not as big of a deal. Whereas sometimes we have this poor mindset where we say, well, I can't give this away because I don't know when I'm going to get it back. And so think about how that like transposes to your business, because like I know that some people will say, well, I don't give out oils. I don't give out samples. And that's fine. But I'm also not stingy with allowing people to share and use certain things, because I know we're going to be able to get more, right? So that mindset is important. Don't shortchange yourself, because it's like you're spinning your wheels in one place. You know, if you're teetering on the fence and you want to half step and be in that comfortable place, like you're never really going to be comfortable. I like the analogy that he used of people that go out to eat, and how, so a rich person will go out to eat and they'll order what they want. A poor person or a person who's more content with being comfortable will order what is more financially sound. So they'll look at the right side of the menu, and usually they'll order the cheapest thing that they can afford, which is chicken, even though they may or may not like chicken. So I laughed because I'm like, Dana and I will go out to eat and Dana always orders what she wants. sometimes it ends up being the most expensive thing on the menu. And I'm always looking at the chicken section because of my mindset. But it helped me to appreciate like, like if you're going out to eat, like you should be able to enjoy that. So there are certain things that having money will allow you to do and to enjoy for the sake of enjoying it, not just because it makes financial sense to somebody with a poor or comfortable mindset. So I thought that was interesting too. Did you have anything else you wanted to share? Okay. So let's open up. Tashina, did you read the book as well, Tashina?
I listened to the book, and I've listened to several books since then because I was trying to get in a lot before the end of the year before I. But one of the interesting things, going back to the imprint, your money blueprint. One of the interesting things that I found there, that there was part of like the beginning of the book I was like I was good, and then it got to like in some of the chapters I was like, whew, didn't realize I was that way. One of the things that you can actually do is you can actually completely rebel and be the opposite. And so that's kind of where I am. Like I grew up hearing all that stuff, and like I tell myself all the time now, you know, I'm rich, I do this, but what happens is because you're not in the middle and you're not balanced, I blow through all my money. Instead of hoarding all my money like my parents did, I blow through it all. Like I will just, and it's giving it away hand over fist usually because my love language is gifts and stuff like that. So it's not like I just willy-nilly just throw it away. I usually just find a way somehow to just like blow through all my money. And that is a reaction to the opposite reaction of what I grew up with. And so there's still things that I have to fix. And then I think I got to the realization of the same thing with comfortable, right? Like I make plenty of money. I'm in the top 8% of income earners, right? But that's where my mindset is at because I make like what my dad made at my age, right? So like my mindset has not allowed me to move past that. And there was one thing that he was mentioning about how you can tell if you may have that issue if you're the type of person that doesn't want to receive all the time. So he's like, look at your language. When someone compliments you, are you able to just say thanks and accept it? Or do you compliment somebody else back? And I definitely majorly have that issue. I probably 10 years ago, I could barely even take a compliment. Now, at least I could take it, but I usually say, oh, but look at what you can do. You're just as good as me. And so I think it's one of the reasons why every single diamond, like in Michigan and a lot of other diamonds have mentioned this, because a lot of us are there. There's a lot of people that can reach, you know, maybe I can make 80 to 120,000 a year. So they can reach the somewhere between silver and gold, and then they get stuck. It's hard to get through to that diamond because our mindset is really what's keeping us here. We don't really think that we're extraordinary and can do that. We think there's something different with those people that can make $1 million a year. And so it's our mindset that we have to fix in order to move past wherever we may be stuck and where our mindset is. And so like people like Amanda Cooper and Laura Pfeiffer here, they listen to that book once a month in the past year, and look where their businesses are right now. So like my goal, I listened to it once. I'm about to listen to it once a month for the next 12 months. I'm about to listen to it 13 more times because listening to it once, I can see where I need to adjust things. And like Dana said, listening to it just once, like you just recognize it, but now it's like hearing it over and over to reprogram your mind the way that it needs to be.
Yeah, I agree. Because like I was telling Dana, I said there were some things that just like I literally like, what's the term that like I was wincing like when I heard some things like, oh, like I don't like the way that sounds. Like it did not resonate with me because of the money blueprint that I had. And so the biggest thing, I mean, if people have read the book, feel free to chime in as well. Or if you have anything you want to add, feel free to add. But I guess like my biggest takeaway is like, don't sell yourself short. Like when it comes to finances, or even your business or whatever you're doing in life. Because even like, let's say that Young Living is not your passion or your end game. Like, let's say that there's some other hobby or something else that you want to pursue. I think Lindsay Teague Marino says this like all the time. She's like, Young Living is not her passion. Like, she has like another business that Young Living has funded for her to pursue what she actually wants to pursue or what she's passionate about. But like, don't shortchange yourself, because it's like it's almost like I think they said in the book, like sometimes we have a fear of success. Like, we'll get a little bit of success, and then because we don't feel like we're worthy of it, like, we'll sabotage. So don't sabotage yourself, because every single person on this call is worthy. It's a matter of, do we feel that we're worthy though? So can we open up the call? Does anybody have anything that they want to add, or any questions or anything that they want to add to the call? I see we got a lot of people on.
And then remember, we had suggested the last month too to reread the 4-year career or read the 4-year career. So if anybody had any comments on either of those two, you can feel free to share.
So while people are doing that, I do want to add on that, because like in the book, The Millionaire Mindset, he does mention network marketing being one of the best models for the mindset of a rich person. And so think about how that ties into the 4-year career, because if you were to say, like, I'm going to stop shortchanging myself, I'm going to give it my all for 4 years, like realize that it's worth it, but it also is going to take that investment of time. Like, one of the things that I think sometimes people misconstrue about network marketing is that it's like the lotto, you know, like you recruit one super power recruiter and they're going to go on and take you to Royal Crown Diamond. And it's like, no, like, it doesn't work like that. It works like any other profession, especially like if you were starting your own business. Like, most businesses don't turn a profit for the first 4 to 5 years. And the difference with Young Living, but the difference with network marketing is you have lower overhead. So you don't have to store anything in your house. You don't have to employ people to keep track of your product. You don't have to go and find sourcing for oils. Like, Young Living has done all of that, but all you have to do is invest the time and give a full effort for 4 years. I think Adam Green is an exceptional example of that. He's in that book, isn't he? He's in the Young Living edition of the 4-year career. He was 22, I believe, when he hit Royal Crown Diamond, or when he hit silver.
No, he was 22 when he hit silver, because he was 26 when he got Royal Crown Diamond, because Bethany Shipley became the youngest when she hit it at 25.
Okay. So, I mean, if you don't know Adam Green's story, like, and I think we've done one of his classes on here before, but it's just like, he's a big advocate for that. Like, it's going to take 4 years. If you dilly-dally and fall off and back and forth, like, it's going to take longer. But most people work their job for 20 to 30 years to try to retire with a portion of what they were making before. I mean, if you invested 4 to 10 years to hit Royal Crown Diamond, I mean, that's worth it. 4 years on the bottom side, I mean, people go to school for 4 years to come out hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt and possibly get a job in their field. I mean, you have a minimum investment with network marketing if you invest 4 years with the potential of great reward. So to me, it just makes sense. Does anybody else have anything they would like to add?
So I'll just add a little bit on the 4-year career. So I do like, in one of the chapters, it talks about traditional sales versus network marketing. I think this is important because I do think that people sometimes get into network marketing and they try to structure it like sales. So like the biggest difference when you think about sales, like the idea is I have a product and I want to sell as much of this product to people as possible, right? Easy peasy. Network marketing is a little bit different. Yes, you have a product, And yes, you want to get it to people, but where you leverage yourself and where it's different is you also want to help other people, right? So the more people you help, the more successful you're going to be at network marketing. And I think when we shift that thought, we don't focus as much as I need to sell, I need to sell, I need to sell. But it's like you want to educate people and you want to help people. You want to educate people and you want to help people. You want to empower them to, you purchase your own stuff, right? You don't ever call me when you need your thieves oil. You order it yourself. You get it from Young Living. Honestly and truthfully, if you didn't ever want to see me, you don't have to see me. But what I empower you with is all the information, the tools, and then you go share with other people. And over time, what that builds is residual income. Because you work really, really, really hard and you build something strong so that it starts working for you. And then you're no longer having to keep selling things and do that aspect of it, if that makes any sense. So I did appreciate in the 4-year career, they really kind of like honed in on that. And also one of the biggest things that for me in that book where it talks about that little hill, going up and down that hill, right? So like, you have to get the momentum going up the hill and it's hard, right? Like, so when you're first starting your business and you're really, really working it and doing it, like it's a lot of work and it's going to take a lot of force to get it on the top of that hill. But once you're on top of that hill, it just rolls on down. And so again, when we talk about that 4 years, like really, what is it, like 4 to 7 years? They're saying like 4 to 7 years in general, you will be at the top of the company if you stay consistent, right? So you can't just, oh, but I've been enrolled for this, but you don't teach classes, right, on a consistent basis. You don't talk to anybody. You don't enroll people. But if you are consistently working it like a business for 4 to 7 years, you're going to get to the top.
Yeah. And that's not to say that there's not bonuses and perks along the way. I mean, like if it took you 7 years to get to Royal Crown Diamond, last time we looked at the income disclosure, Royal Crown Diamond makes roughly how much a month, Tashina?
Per month, I gotta look at.
Oh, you're supposed to be red. You're supposed to know this.
I don't know, but like I'm telling you, I've been looking at so much stuff. It's like, it's craziness right now. Like my brain was not ready for that question.
That's cool. But the point I was making is, I mean, think about how many people have hit, the certain ranks leading up to there. So there are people that have stepped away from their secular careers but way before they hit Royal Crown Diamond. I mean, for most people, a gold salary is enough for them to walk away from working secularly. So to see some of the success stories in Young Living for people that like even we've met at convention that it's taken them 2, 3 years, 4 years to hit gold. I mean, that's still worth it.
I mean, and there's Royal Crown Diamonds that it took them 20 years, but most of them, you talk to them too, they're like, yeah, but I ain't really do nothing for like, a whole
18 years.
Right? No, it don't be like that. But there be long periods where they're like, I've been around it. I had other stuff going on. I wasn't really doing it. But again, even if it took 20 years, that's still better than the plan that most of us have.
$144,000 per month.
Yeah. I mean, that's stupid, ridiculous money. Like most people wouldn't even know what to do with that. And that's why I guess some people just give it away.
So so the 4-year career is, you can read it in an hour. It's very easy. It's very quick. And I just want to reiterate what Dana says. It is one of the things that I see most often, because if you understood how network marketing worked, you would have as many of your team members on this call as possible. You would have as many people at the rally as possible. You would have your convention ticket and you would have as many people on your team as there. If you truly believed and understood the difference between direct sales and network marketing, because as Dana said, you get better the more you teach other people. That's the only way you move forward. You don't get better by selling product in network marketing. You get better by teaching and helping other people. And the easiest way for you to do that is to make sure they're at everything that you're at, because otherwise you have to take your time and spend your personal time, and you're actually self-employed. You're trading time for money still, just like you are at your job, instead of leveraging the educational tools that have been set in front of you.
I want to open up to the next one.
Which was one? Okay. All right. Very good. Does anybody have anything they want to add before we shift gears?
I do.
Oh, go ahead. Who's that, Melissa?
One of the things that resonated with me was what Dana said about being fearful of when you're sharing with people appearing salesy. And that's one of the things that I find, you know, I'll reiterate to people, I'll say, you know what, I'm not trying to sell this product to you. I want to help you. So that's where my mindset, I'm trying to change my mindset about, you know, trying not to be fearful of how I'm appearing to other people, you know, probably a self-esteem thing too as well. But do you guys have any tips about, you know, how to overcome that thought of just, you know, appearing salesy and that kind of thing?
I actually love that question because I actually get that one a lot. And I think we've said before, like, confidence plays a factor, but this made me think even more so about the book because people have different mindsets. So like the way that Dana and I have approached it probably the past couple of years, and Tashina as well, a few other leaders, is we give people information. Okay. So if I'm teaching a class, we go through the oils, I give you the 3 ways to get started, and then I just ask which one would you like to get started with. Now, the holdup sometimes is the mentality that people have. Like Dana and I were just talking about this today, that sometimes you run into people with a poor mentality quite often. So in that moment, it's like, I don't know if we cringe or tense up and we're like, oh, okay, I need to convince them that why they need to get started with me, why they need to have the oils. And we start doing all this talking and we start making it this bigger thing than what it actually is. You cannot say the wrong thing to the right person, but you can talk yourself out of a sale. So when it comes to approaching that, like, I always suggest give people the information and then allow them to choose. If they say, it's too expensive, I mean, we don't need to go through their finances. Just understand that their mentality says, okay, for the value that I'm getting for a kit at $160, like, I don't value that enough, and it's too expensive for me personally because of that mindset that they have. Because you will find typically that some people will say that, oh, the kit is too expensive or this oil is too expensive, but they got the latest iPhone 10 that costs $1,000. So it's not that they don't have the finances, it's just that they don't value it or see it the same way that you do. And that's why you have to go through the numbers and talk to as many people as possible, because you're only looking for the select few who are looking for you. And so when you give people information and you allow them to make that decision, it never comes off salesy.
And I will say to give them specific instructions on what to do next. So I think for me, where I used to get hung up with is I would give them all the information. I would say, this is what it costs. This is where you need to start. And then I would be quiet. And they're like, so is there a link or like, and I wouldn't finish it because I was fearful. So it's like, so here's the link. This is my website. This is how you, and then let them do it or not do it. And also the follow-up's important. So the other thing that I started doing is if, okay, you came to my class and you didn't get started, no worries, cool. So I'm going to those next couple days, like literally the day after I have that class, I'm going to reach back out to you like, hey, what did you enjoy? I know you really said you thought Thieves was going to be amazing for your household. This was this little, clip that I really thought was interesting, and it might be like the Petri dish things or something. I might send that to them like, oh my goodness, can you see how powerful Thieves is? more powerful than Clorox bleach and, you know, this and that, the other. And I just thought you would think this is amazing. And then maybe a few days later, there's something else that like they had mentioned was something they're looking for. And that way I'm giving them multiple exposures, but I'm not like, so are you going to get the kit now? So now are you going to get the kit? Oh, now are you ready to get the kit? But I'm just keeping in their mind what they've told me. I need immune support. Okay, cool. So that they keep seeing that, oh, thieves immune, thieves immunity. And so they have it in their head. So when they're ready, they'll come back around. And then also, like he was saying, another thing for me is I just started making sure I'm talking to so many people. I don't even realize when people come around. I'm like, I'm just going to like everybody, I'm talking to everybody. So that way, like when they're ready, I'm ready. And I'm not like, cause I used to be like, oh, well, this one person said they're going to get started. And I'm like waiting on them to get started for 3 months. And it's like, oh, they didn't get started, you know, where it's like, if you have enough people, like, then it's just good. You're just sharing.
Does that help, Melissa?
Definitely it does. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Yolanda, you had a question?
I just want to add right quick. I think definitely keeping that funnel full is so important. Like we did our little power hour where we did our care calls together and prospecting calls. And I realized that when I was done, I was like, I missed like 3 people. Like I'm trying to work with like 3 different, you know, personal trainer gym owners right now. And I forgot to get with one of them because I just have so much to do. I think that's definitely a key. Like as of today, I already have 2 one-on-ones set up for next week and I'm going to try to get a 3rd. So keeping that funnel full reduces that emotional as well, because you're not waiting for this one person to get my help 5 because, you know, I'm going to talk to 15 people, whether it's in a couple of classes or 10 one-on-ones. I'm talking to 15 people. So my odds are good.
And you can't take it personal no matter what. You cannot internalize it that they're not liking you. They just aren't ready for the time, or they don't have the funds at the minute or whatever. It's not you. So don't take it personal. I know how hard that is for a lot of us, but when you know, and the more you do it, the better you'll get at it. Just keep it up.
Mm-hmm. Okay, go ahead, Yolanda. I'm trying to unmute you. Give me 1 second here. I'll see if I can unmute you then. Okay, try it now.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, I've been trying to institute some of the things. Dana, you sent me a link to a lady on YouTube that had some phenomenal suggestions, very strong closings, and trying to incorporate those in my oils, parties, or introductions. I see where the value of it is because it keeps you very connected from the beginning. So like inviting people. My biggest thing, I'm just really stuck in time. I don't want to send out something to each individual person. So I was that mass text person. Send it out to everybody at the same time, but keep it real generic. But I found that by instituting those suggestions, to make it personal, to connect with people, I was able to have a more successful show, but follow-ups, leads, very, very, very strong. And as I'm talking to them, then I have my phone out with my calendar up, and they're saying, okay, so I want to get my kit Friday. So I open up my calendar to that day and say, okay, so we're talking about the 4th. So just like I mark other important things, I found that when I did that, they took it as serious too. So I said, so we're going to connect then, and I can help you get that done. So it's like a commitment at that point. And then for other people that come to the party, just networking really strong. Tashina, it's that wellness consult sheet, so that you know how to help them, the things that's important to them. I really didn't see the value of it. But after this party, this last one, I really see the value, because literally after the show, after the party, I'm still thinking, I'm in that mode. And so as I'm running across things, I'm looking at my oils books and I'm saying, oh, I remember such and such had this issue. So I send them something real quick, which helps them to realize, oh, so now they see that I'm interested in them and what their needs are. But I did have people that didn't seem like they understood the value. So I'll just reconnect with them at a different time. But for all those others, those are really hot leads that will keep me busy until maybe those others come around. But even if they don't, just connecting with them and setting things up, it can just spiral where it may seem even overwhelming that you can just be so busy from just instituting those small suggestions. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Good. And by the way, Yolanda, you had a really, really phenomenal turnout for your party on Sunday.
Mhm.
So congratulations on that. Very good job.
Thanks a
Okay.
lot. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Okay, so I see Julie's on the call. So we want to switch gears to our last topic. Hopefully we addressed everybody else that wanted to say something. Okay. So Julie, you were in town Friday, and we all met with the executives. Did you want to share what was discussed or what we were planning for the team in 2019?
Well, I hope I can get this out. I've been very sick since then. Sorry, I was sick when I came there, but actually I missed this part of this because I had fallen asleep. But a lot of good came from that. I'm so grateful that you all showed up. So many of you did, and that it turned out to be such a nice interchange of what people conceive this team to be and where they'd like it to go. The community that we would like to build it in 2019. I know that we are in a decisive mode right now. I don't want to say a whole lot because there was plenty of other leaders that were not at that dinner. And I was talking to or text to Sheena earlier that we still would like to have their words in on what they think the team should do to go into 2019. But for sure, the community aspect of it and how you guys were touching on it when I first came on the call, as far as helping one another any way that we can to, build your team, her team, their team, our team, because it's all of our team. But as far as the website, the Facebook page, I don't know if anybody, all the people, I'm not sure who was even on this call, but if you're on Facebook, you know that you are probably a part of the Happy Oiler family page. We have not decided. I know that it's in the works that we are going to encourage everybody on the team, all new members, and people who future signups absolutely get on to the Healthy Habits. That's what it's called, right? Healthy Habits team page. That is our Diamond and our Platinum upline team page so that we can get more interaction from individuals. Leah and I did go back through because we had heard from others that they didn't think the Happy Oiler page was, it just needed some tweaking or whatever. I don't know. And when we went back through and looked at some of the numbers weren't nearly as bad as what we had perceived. So we're not sure what we're doing there. We want everybody, if you are on Facebook, please go into the Healthy Habits group page, which is our Diamonds page, and please put yourself in there. They are, phenomenal people. They're above me 2 levels above me and have a lot going on in that page. And so we will, all be connecting with them a little more than what we have in the past. But since, you guys have been with family all weekend, I've been sick all weekend. It's just been tough. I haven't had a chance to really go beyond what our dinner was, but we do realize that we need more engagement. I'll put it there. We did go back and look at a couple of the last few questions that have been put on the Happy Oiler page where people just posted questions. And the interaction there was very good. So really, I'd like to know what some of the people that are on here tonight, what their thoughts are as far as what they think or want 2019 as a team. Not, individually we have our goals and everything, but if you have any input or where you think that it would go as a team, we'd love to hear from you guys too. We took the executives and the silver suggestions, to heart. But we're trying to make up what we're going to do from here on out. And we just haven't had a chance to talk to the uplines, to be honest. But
so, Julie,
to help me out.
Yeah.
Dana, I'm sorry.
So I just wanted to so for those that are on the call, as well as those that will be listening to the replay, I know there were a few things that we were talking about, nothing that was solidified. But one of the things that I do think is important to mention is we talked about the possibility of merging groups. So then because we're telling people about Team Healthy Habits, but if we did that, then that would be the main group instead of the Happy Oilers that we have.
It would be the main group, but we still have to have Happy Oilers. I will never shut that page down. And this is the reason. The reason that I made that page to begin with is because when we were a part of what was it? Wildflower. They are my upline direct. And I had an incentive for our team. That means my team, you guys are on my team, Leah's team, Tashina's team, Dana's team. We had an incentive that was not for anybody else's team. I wasn't willing to give it out to anyone else. It was it was the condo I gave away for that, for a period of time, for a week. And it wasn't for their other teams, all those other silvers and aboves teams. So they made me go and create that page. I'm happy with my page. I love that page.
Okay.
I've invested a lot of time. Huh?
Okay, so my question would be this is for what I've heard from my team.
Yes.
They don't want multiple groups.
Right.
But I would want to put that in front of everybody else instead of speaking for them. So I would want to open that to everybody else. Whether you're here live or you're on the replay, how would you feel about merging groups or making one main group or having multiple groups? Would that help increase getting information? Would that help increase interaction? I would want to hear from everybody as to how they feel necessarily about that. Because one thing I would say, and I've mentioned this before too, is a lot of my team personally is not on Facebook.
Right.
A lot of my leaders, even though they might have Facebook accounts, all of the information that they get generally comes from me, not from posts that they see. So again, with those that are on, if we can get some feedback on that specifically.
Right. And that's another thing that you and me and some of the other leaders need to address too, is how to address people who are not on Facebook or social media altogether. We need to reach out to them too. That's a whole nother subject. But as far as it goes from Happy Oilers, which is our page, our team page. Then it goes to Team Wildflower. Now, I've never directed anybody there. I just really haven't, except the people that were there. And then above that used to be Amber's page. But I guess I understand now that Amber defunct her page and created a different one. So there's several pages in between me, our page, Happy Oiler, and then the healthy habits. And so what we've been talking about since then, and it hasn't been a lot, but is that we will keep Happy Oiler open because we have to have another page for incentives, number one. Number two, if there's just, I'm not going to close it. I'm just not going to. So the people that are in there can be in there. And if they start fading off and going to the other one, that is awesome. That's great. My fear with that, and this is only my opinion, is that if we all jump over and go on to healthy habits, and this is just a thought, is that if we, unless we can get the planner thing going that Tashina and I had been working on, there's going to be so many, there's already a lot of posts in.
No, that's the plan. If we merge up, then the calendar, that's what needs to be discussed. That would be the plan, because there won't be calendars for multiple groups.
Right, but even the calendar, it has to be gone by, because there's going to be so many different postings in that one group by so many different people.
But remember, one of the things from Missy's information, one of the things she had like only a question, just one question thread to try to minimize some of that. So there's, I mean, all of the logistics of that, there's solutions to some of that.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. We haven't had a chance to speak about it and anything. So we are planning, you guys, whoever's on this call and whoever comes on it later, we are trying to get together to organize a better community for you, because we know that that's important. You have to be able to feel that you can go into a group, not 15 different groups. Like we were saying at the dinner, is that, most people are a part of ours, and then they're a part, they love Jen O'Sullivan, and we love Dr. Jim Bob. These are people we can get really good sound information from, but we still need our own community team page, whether it's ours or Healthy Habits. And so, because Healthy Habits too is having a tough time keeping their content relevant and informational, educational, we thought maybe as a group to go together with them and make it one good, strong page. So that's where we're at with that.
Really quickly, because we're getting to the tail end here, I do want to take an opportunity then to put it to those who are on the call, because that's one of the things that we talked about implementing or possibly changing to help better assist the team as a whole. Yeah. So while we have people on the call, is there anything that you guys specifically would like to see out of your leaders starting in 2019 that could help and assist you grow in your business? Is there something that you feel like maybe you're lacking, that you need help in that department, whether it's more informational resources or more support at your events or gatherings or help closing people? What is it that you guys would need? So I want to give them a couple minutes just to vocalize that if they would like to.
Or even personalized phone calls once a month or once every couple weeks or whatever.
So I have a thought that I would like to share, if that's okay. I get the entire concept of merging groups and all of that as well. But when I sign someone up, sometimes I have to talk them into getting on Facebook. And then I kind of sell them on Facebook, and I let them know I'm going to put them into multiple groups, and they should watch those groups and get a feel for them, because from my perspective, people's personalities are like, each page has a different feel. So I'm in complete agreement with the whole, like, you need to have some sort of private space for your own incentives or whatever. I'm playing with an idea on Instagram right now with my downline that I'm just experimenting with for people who are more Instagram focused rather than Facebook focused. But I really think that people choose their groups based on their own personality. But if we can encourage them to, like stay in a certain group based on, whatever incentives they might get, really educate them on who their upline is. And, that's where I am. I think people choose their Facebook groups based on their personality. So I don't know if that helps or if that muddies the waters, but that's what I tend to see from my downline. So that's all I have to say.
Okay. Thank you, Monica. We'll take that into consideration as well.
Yolanda, anybody?
Well, I was thinking, I'm not really social media because I stayed so busy. That's probably the furthest thing from my mind. I get most of my information from Dana or Tashina, so that's how I can keep up with things. But I really enjoyed, Tashina, you sent a, I don't know, it's like a flyer that it stood up. And I was able to take that information and add it to my calendar because that's literally how I operate. If it's not in my calendar, likely I'm not going to be involved in it. So to keep things like that going, I don't know about how that could go as far as a whole team, but those things really help me because I just have not had time to devote any time to social media. So I still feel connected when I have that information. I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything.
So really quickly, if I can ask, Tashina, is that a group calendar that you're sending to her or what is?
No, it's my postcards that I sent out on a monthly basis. So, but yeah, some of the, Jenny or Renelle as a person who's trying to step in and get some information, does multiple groups sound like something you can manage and that will be helpful? Or even like Renelle, you were in our group before. I don't know if you're still in the Facebook group and what you've got out of it.
Can you?
Jen?
You all right there?
Jen?
Sorry, I was going to say something and then I got hugged. I was just trying to clean up a milk spill on the couch. So, yeah. I like our Happy Oilers group. Our Facebook group? I don't know. I think we post in there and we try to participate and stuff, but I'm in a lot of groups, but I like them all because I learn different stuff from all of them and I get ideas, and I like all of our graphics and stuff, and I try to share. Sorry, I'm still working on my couch. Yeah, so the Happy Oilers, and I'm in Kim, and you're talking about like Kim and Kelly's group, right? I'm in that one too. I like the stuff we share on ours, though.
Yeah, and we would still share the idea would be to take all of the executives and above, the executives that are building, and we would all run that group together via a calendar. And so it wouldn't be like you're missing information. You would have more input of information. Okay. And it was something that corporate also suggested. Like corporate looked at both of the groups and corporate said, this seems like it would be more effective if you just focused on your diamond group.
Oh, okay.
All right. So we'll take all of that into consideration really quickly because I want to guard everybody's time because we're getting down to the tail end. We want to talk about events because the new year is starting in a day or so. And the big one that I cannot stress enough is the rally. I know that people will probably have events between here and there. But the rally, January 19th, if you have not bought your ticket or your leadership pack, we are encouraging everyone on the call who's on the call tonight to do so now. Couple reasons, and we've talked about it before, but your team is going to duplicate what you do. So if you want people to show up, if you want your leaders to show up to the rally and to events and to support you, You have to lead by example. And also for us to continue to put on these events for you guys to utilize and benefit, we like to prepare as much in advance. So we're asking all the leaders to step up and purchase your leadership pack. Tickets are currently how much right now, Tashina?
Individual are 15 a piece plus what Eventbrite charges, and then a leadership pack is a minimum of 5 for $50.
Yeah. So I encourage you, if you're able to, go ahead and do so. Don't let the mindset stop you from getting a leadership pack. Go in with the mentality that if I purchase this leadership pack, I'm going to sell all of these tickets to my team. Okay. And then do it. That's the big event that we have coming up in January. Does anybody have anything else that they would like to promote or anything else that they would like to add before we close out the call?
Dana, you want to recap on the cleanse? We're going to be talking about that on January 1st on Facebook.
Yep. So we'll be doing a cleanse challenge with the cleansing trio. And that will start January 13th, where we will actually be doing the cleanse. But we wanted to start the online class where we will explain everything with the cleanse. And that'll be January 1st, so that people have time to get their products and everything that they need to be able to do the cleanse, and to really understand the benefits of why to cleanse. And the honest truth is everybody needs to cleanse. Everyone needs to cleanse.
And then January 3rd is my follow-up class in the Sleek class. So if you haven't gone in there, I did a presentation already, and it was just general about fitness and weight management, completely general information, great to share with other people. And then I'm going to go into a product-based education on the 3rd. So, and then the Sleek challenge actually starts February 1st. January 1st, you can start taking your measurements up to the 25th and put your stuff in the system to join the Sleek challenge. So we'll go into details of the Sleek in 60 and all of that. And then we have our spa party on the 13th, that we have a monthly spa party, and Tashina will be in Mexico from the 7th to the 18th. So Dana's gonna need a lot of support from the team that lives in the Metro Detroit area for that, for sure. And again, we need support on making sure that everyone has their tickets. Because right now, from a financial standpoint, we don't have money for decorations. We don't have money for in the pool for sound system or DJ or anything like that. And again, I will be in Mexico. So if we could get everybody to purchase their tickets that are coming this weekend, that would be really helpful to see where we are prior to me being out of the country. I'm flying back in right before the rally, so.
All right. Well, I believe that's everything then. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We had great support on the call tonight, so you guys are to be commended for that. Let's continue that. Keep that open dialogue. If you guys have questions that you want to bring to next week's class, feel free to write them down, because sometimes we forget. So feel free to bring that. But until then, let's look at a bang in 2019.
Before we close it out, actually. So next week is actually Shannon Hudson's executive and above. I am.
Right.
Yeah, so we need a topic and who's going to run next week call, actually, because it won't be us, because we'll be up at that and we'll be calling into it. So we definitely need a topic and who's going to run the call for next week.
All right. So if you would like to volunteer, feel free to let Tashina know.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay?
Yep.
Okay. All right. I already used my tagline, but let's go out there and have a bang in 2019. Thank you for interrupting me, Tashina. I'm kidding. But we'll see everybody on next week's call. Thank you. Have a good night.